Hello everyone, it's Karen. I have had the best week. So I want to, in this video, kind of tell you about my week and share with you what I've read this week, which is not a lot, and also kind of share with you my stats for the week because, as you know, I've been working really hard on just decreasing my TBR, appreciating the books that I already own, and just trying to read them or unhaul them and pass them along to other people that could use amazing books. So anyway, let's start with why I'm just have so much joy this week. Basically, as you guys may know, because I talk about it from time to time, I am at a crazy high risk for breast cancer. Super high. Loads of people in my family have had it. It's a whole thing. When I was living in Illinois, I wanted to get screened early, and nobody was listening to me. They just kept saying, I'm too young. Well, then I moved to Michigan, and at my first doctor's appointment, they asked me if I wanted to meet with the high-risk person, and I was like, yes, sign me up. And my doctor was basically kind of discouraging me from going to this person because he said, if you look for something, you're gonna find it. And I'm like, okay, I would rather look for something and find it than put blinders on and pretend that this is not my reality, right? So I essentially have been going to her now for I think 4 years or so. And she has basically changed my life. So that's why I'm so joyful this week. Basically, when I first started going to her, I was just crippled with anxiety about one day having breast cancer or about having it in my body and not knowing about it. And it was just I remember sitting in her office and just being even in my body language, I felt like I made my body small and I was kind of tense and whatever. And she has put me on a plan that has absolutely transformed me to being so much more empowered about my health and just more at peace with the situation that I'm in, which is that I do have a high risk breast cancer. On Tuesday was part of my screening process with her. So every year she put me on a plan where I get an MRI once a year, I get a 3D mammogram 6 months later, and then within there somewhere I have 2 clinical exams as well. And that just makes me feel so confident that we are doing everything. I'm being screened on a regular basis. And hopefully, if anything came up, we would catch it early. But you know what? We're doing everything. I'm on a good plan, and that just makes me feel so good and so empowered. And so, I guess, free to live my life and to soak up every minute and travel and hang out with people and do all the things I love, I guess. And I know that seems like they shouldn't be connected, but they actually are. So there's that. But anyway, on Tuesday I had my MRI, and I decided that because I had a medical appointment, I was going to take the rest of the day for myself. And it ended up working really well because although I told you I have this sense of empowerment surrounding this situation, at the end of the day, every time my mammogram comes up or my MRI, there is a bit of anxiety, really close to that event, maybe the day of, or maybe a day before, a day or two before. So Tuesday was my appointment, and I felt like it was going to be okay, but I just didn't know and whatever. And I got my results back 2 hours later saying it was completely fine. And it just gave me this lightness, I guess, and just allowed me to really enjoy the rest of my day that I had planned for myself, and also to make plans going forward. I am 99.9% sure I will be going to the UK this summer. And then today I met with Kelly. That's the person that is in charge of managing this whole high risk situation. She's a PA. And yeah, meeting with her just brings me so much joy. She's just so kind and so connected, and she makes you feel like an actual human being, not just a patient. She takes her time with you, and I just feel so good after having a conversation with her via our little email system that we can do for our doctors, or getting results from her or going to an appointment. Like, I'm just so, so grateful. And I know like there's a few of you that are also in the medical community, Sarah, and I think Marcella as well. Like, I hope you know how much you just being present and taking time with the people that you're taking care of means to them. Like, she means so much to me, and I'm so, so grateful that I have her as part of my healthcare team situation. And yeah, there's going to be changes that we make going forward as I age and with more research and all that stuff. But right now, this is like an amazing plan, and I'm just incredibly grateful that I have the opportunity to work with her. I'm about to cry. Let's talk about books. The first book I read this week, and I didn't get a lot of reading done, despite having a lot of time on Tuesday, or what I thought would be a lot of time. I ended up having a really fun day. But I read Perfect Peace, and this was for the book club that I'm in with Dee Dee and like loads of other people. I will try and link some of them below. Basically, it is the Read School Lit book club, and Dee Dee is the one that started this whole thing, and it's turned into like the best thing I've ever participated in. Dee Dee lives in Normandy, France, and she leads it from there. It's all on Zoom, and we basically read a book together, and then we meet twice during the month, once in the middle of the month for like a mid-month check-in situation, and then once at the end of the month to discuss the book as a whole. This book that we read was Perfect Peace, and it is by Dania Black. It was so good. So I kind of switch between being a plot-driven person and like a character person. So I would say that literary fiction is something that I touch on at times, but I don't consistently read, just because sometimes I'm here for plot and sometimes I'm here for that literary fiction piece. And I think this was a perfect blend of kind of both situations. There's so much to discuss in here, and there's so much to be thought about deeply. So you get that literary fiction piece, but then there's so much tension and so much plot in here as well. So I just absolutely love this. I did review it in another video, so I'll link that below. I'll do a super quick review now, little blurb, I guess, about it, which basically this is about a woman who was emotionally abused as a child, and basically in order to heal that hurt that she had as a child, she wants a girl child, a daughter, to kind of be able to treat correctly. And if she's able to treat somebody with love and kindness, it will kind of like undo or repair the harm that she got as a child. And so as an adult, she starts having kids, and she has boy after boy after boy. And whatever is going on in her head, like, she can't be extra kind to a son and have that repair the harm of her childhood. Like, it has to be a daughter. And so the story starts chapter 1. She's in labor, which I don't do well with that sort of thing. So I'm kind of skimming. But anyway. You know what's going on from like the first moment in this book. You know she's freaking gonna have another boy, and she does. But you also know that she's not handling this well. She will have a daughter. No matter what, she will have a daughter. And so she ends up taking that child and raising it as a girl, despite it physically being a boy. And I don't want to say more than that, but I will say there's so much tension in here, because you're always like, first of all, when's the child going to find out that they're a boy? When are people around this child going to find out that it's a boy? And it's not just like, that's the main situation in the story, but there's all this other discussion around it about gender, about sexuality, about like all these things, about family trauma and just like trauma in general. And like, there's so much in here that I loved it. And I will say the reason I'm repeating this, even though I just made another video on this, is because I'm wondering, if you read this, let me know. Like, I'm wondering, I feel like the story is called Perfect Peace. Peace is the family's last name. Perfect is the name of the girl child. So Perfect Peace is like this child that was raised as a girl. But even though the title is Perfect Peace and the image is of perfect, I feel that this is actually more a story about the mom and about her dealing with trauma and how she tries to heal herself as an adult, and about the journey she goes on. Let me know if you would also agree, because I don't think it's actually about perfect. I was hoping to basically have loads of time on Tuesday to read, but I ended up going to my MRI. Then I took myself to a coffee shop and I read for a while. Then I got my hair cut and colored. Then I ended up taking myself to lunch, and then I got a massage. And so I really didn't have as much time as I thought I would have on Tuesday to read. Like, everything just like bam, 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 one thing after another, but it was super, super fun. So I actually didn't get loads of reading done this week, but a book I did finish today was All Rise for the Honorable Perry T. Cook. Now, something about me, even though I'm a teacher and I teach 6th grade special education, I don't really like to read kid books at home because I feel like I'm bringing work home with me, and I like that balance of like, at home I read like a grown-up, and at school I read kid books. But anyway, every year we pick a book for March. March is reading month, and we read it together as a school. And so I've been slowly reading this with the kids every single day when I'm co-teaching for their general education classroom, in their general education classroom. And we got to a part today. We are basically listening to it on audiobook, and we got to a part today where I was like, come on, like, narrator, you are way too freaking slow. And so I just like ignored the narrator and I just started reading in the back of the room. And then we had like this little transition between when reading was done and when we were having a guest speaker come in. And so the kids got like a little break, and I just kept reading, and 2 kids came over to me and busted me. They were like, Miss Evans, are you reading ahead? And I just like closed the book. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And we made it into this huge thing, and I got busted, and then it made them like more excited, you know, because yeah, anyway, it was a good situation. I ended up finishing it later in the day at school, and this book, oh my gosh, it made me so mad. I wanted to like throw it against the wall. Essentially, this tells the story of Perry T. Cook, the kid on the cover, who was essentially raised in prison. So his mom was sentenced to prison when she was pregnant with him. She gave birth in prison. Well, they took her to the hospital, but you know what I mean. And so in many hospitals, I guess they have like a nursery where like infants can stay until they're 2 years old. Apparently that's a thing, but he just kept staying there. So he had a foster parent, and the foster parent was like in charge of the prison or whatever. And so he would basically go to her at night and would stay with her while his mom was locked up in her cell. But the rest of the time he could just be wherever he wanted to be in the prison, and was able to hang out with his mom and just kind of live his best life in the prison. But all of a sudden things change. Someone finds out about this arrangement. At the same time, he's also starting middle school, which is just traumatic in and of itself. So he has like these big life changes that all of a sudden he's not allowed to live in the prison anymore. All of a sudden he's starting a new school, and his life is just like in absolute chaos. And so the book follows him as he tries to basically be with his mom, get his mom out of prison because she is up for parole pretty soon. And there are characters in here that, well, one in particular that just make you want to scream. Like the lack of empathy, the lack of being able to take another's point of view, and just really not being allocentric at all. Like just completely having blinders on towards any way of life that's different from their own. And yeah, I feel like the main character is lovely, but the person I'm talking about that is just like absolutely horrible, the antagonist of the story, is somebody that like you can connect to in real life. Like I can think of people that are exactly like him, and it just drives me mad. And he was such a jerk. There were so many, like, I messaged a few of my teacher friends afterwards, and I was just like, I was so mad. Okay, so this is really good. I would say that our kids are just deeply into it. Like they want to keep reading. They're very, very motivated by it. And at the same time, there's loads of discussion that you could have with them. So this would be a really good book to read with kids. They can totally read it by themselves as well, but this is a really good book for loads of discussions. And then finally, the book that I haven't read but I need to get to is called Inga's War, and it is by somebody O'Donnell. I should figure out how to say that name. This is for our book club on Sunday. So every few months, my whole family, like my mom, my mom's cousins, a whole bunch of people, like really, really broad and distant, but not distant because we're connected in our hearts, meet to discuss a book. And I'm hosting this time, and this is the book that I chose. This is basically about a woman today who doesn't know a lot about her grandma's past and the family situation during World War II. And it kind of sounds like maybe they were either apathetic towards the Nazis or in with the Nazis. It's just kind of like this family secret that has never really been discussed. And so this book is kind of back and forth between like her hearing stories of what happened a long time ago, and then also like the present day and her trying to discover what's going on. Nonfiction. I'm not very far into it because I've been taking lots of notes, tabbing loads, and just like making sure that I can lead a good discussion on it. So I have like quotes and then like a question that I want to ask and stuff like that. But yeah, I need to finish this by Sunday. So that's the book I'll definitely get to read this week. I also am reading The Blue Tent with Andy. However, Andy finished it, hated it. And so I'm like, ooh, I should finish my reread of it because this was like my second time through. But because it's a reread, I'm reading it slowly and like annotating, like rethinking everything, like, oh, like whatever, because the ending was really surprising and like made me want to question everything I'd read previously. So now in my reread, I'm just paying close attention and close reading it. And so like, I don't even know if she wants me to finish. Like she hated it. Does she want me to discuss it with her? Does she want me to finish and talk about it? I don't know. Anyway, so that is what I've read this week, or what I need to get to in the next couple days. As far as my stats, I started the year with 585 owned physical books that I had not read yet. And currently I have 442 physical unread books that I have not read, which means that I am down 143, which is through reading, unhauling, lots of unhauling, lots and lots. That's probably the majority of this for sure. I donate them to my library, and then we also have a free bookstore in Muskegon that I think I might kind of save this batch of donations for and like see if I can bring it over there sometime. I also rearranged my books when I was going through them. I took literally every book that is unread off the shelf and put only what I wanted for sure back on. These are all signed, and on the other side of my bed there's another bookshelf that is signed books, and then I have fiction to my right. You can't really see it, and then nonfiction in my closet, but yeah, that's it. Oh, and I have a cart of books that are by like Black authors. So yeah, that's everything. Anyway, let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have also read any of these and what your thoughts on them are. Yeah, if you want to talk about anything at all, let me know. I need to do a video with your recommendations pretty soon. But anyway, I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.